What is up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Drop drop a thumbs up in the chat wherever you guys are watching from. That you guys are tuning in, and shout out to the replay people. I see some people on the replay, so shout out to you guys. You guys be coming through. All right, so what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about a mistake. The mistake I made that cost me quite a big chunk. Cost me what it like it cost me a job at Amazon, which would relate to or which would start around like 120K a year, like salary starting range. That was the range, and it was a learning experience, and I just want to share that story. So that's what we're going to be covering today. First, going to give a few seconds for people to pull up. I know it's Thursday, right? Thursday, right before New Year's. Hope you guys are ready. Hope you have some big plans. And let me actually check. We are live on LinkedIn. I had some issues with this event, connecting it to the LinkedIn. Oh, we are live. Okay. All right. So, what happened? And this is something I've kind of hinted at. I never really dove in depth about the story, but when I when I was on the journey to become a developer, I actually got a chance to apply and go through the whole process at Amazon, and it was really fun. Like it was intense, a lot of adrenaline. The I think I got an email, or no, I think I got a call. I don't remember what the first interaction was. The first touch point was an email or a call, and it was I think it was a call. They wanted me to do the first round, which was just a hacker rank problem, and it was like something DSA related, like it was a data structures and algorithms question inside of a hacker rank, and they said I had 3 days to do it. So they kind of put the pressure on, and at that point I had some knowledge. I had studied DSA quite a bit, but as you guys know, or as you may know, with the iOS dev journey, there you're doing a lot, right? Like you're always working on your portfolio, working on your apps, you're working on your resume, you're working on applying, and your portfolio and your LinkedIn and stuff like that. And through the course of all that, I did take time to learn DSA, but I had kind of stopped because you only really need DSA because DSA is weird. You need to understand the fundamentals, but you only really need it, if we're being honest, you only really need it for the big tech company interviews. Because other than them, other most especially for iOS, like I said, for software engineer, you probably see that a lot more, but for iOS, it's tricky and it's always weird, right? Like when you go interview at a position, like will it be DSA? Will it not be DSA? I always try to ask, and that's something you guys should be doing as well. But with Amazon, you're getting DSA for sure. You're getting DSA for sure. So they told me I had 3 days to do the hacker rank, and I just spent 2 days like reviewing DSA and just pretty much all day, like throughout this, because this whole saga was about like 2 weeks, like a week and a half, 2 weeks. The whole Amazon, what would you call it? Amazon interview phase. This whole saga was about 2 weeks, and I spent most of those 2 weeks just doing DSA. Like every day, I didn't do anything else. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the first 2 days, once they told me I had 3 days to do the hacker rank problem, I just did DSAs because that's all. That's what it was. That's what the question was going to be about. And then once on the third day, I was like, all right, I'm doing it first thing in the morning because there's no point of, well, I like to do challenging things or just things that are like intense, like that require like more thinking in the morning. because by the afternoon or in the evening, I'm just like I'm kind of tired, and so that's pretty much my that was my game plan, and it actually worked out. All that cramming for the 2 days, it worked out. I got a call from the recruiter that following Monday. I think I took it on Friday or Saturday. Then I got a call that following Monday, and she was like, "Oh, good news, you passed the first round." And then she was like, "The second round is your super day, which is one full day of just interviews." It used to be an on-site before the pandemic, but now it's a they called it a remote or virtual on-site. And she told me that it was going to be 4 to 5 interviews, spanned out throughout a day. And I was like, damn. And from there, I was like, damn, the pressure's on, right? Because it was going to be 4 to 5 interviews. And I knew there was, I think she gave me a rundown. It was going to be 3 technical, one behavioral. And my focus, the approach I took was master DSA, right? Because if you can't do the DSA, you can't, like, nothing's gonna happen, because they were gonna, like, 3 of them are technical, so they were gonna hammer DSA, and I was pretty confident in my Swift knowledge by then. So that's pretty much what I did. I just hammered DSA. And when she called me, she asked when I wanted to schedule the interview, and in my head, I was thinking, I want this interview to be like in 2 3 weeks, so I can just have a lot of time to study. But she also mentioned that there was like an urgency to fill the position, so I was like, all right, give me a week. So I got a week and pretty much spent those 7, I think it was 7 days or 7, yeah, 7 days if you count the that day, just focusing on DSA and interview prep. I went through and I did my DSA stuff in Python because I had some familiarity with Python. I had worked with it before. And I use Neat Code. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a really good resource, especially for Python solutions. And he also, it's like a YouTube channel. He also has the Blind 75, which are like the most common DSA questions, and that's pretty much what I hammered in and tried to. Yeah, I just focused on those, and I would juggle the DSA and just like interview prep, like the Swift concepts. I don't know if you guys have had the PDF that I've sent out to quite a few folks that contains the interview concepts you need to know for a junior position, and that's pretty much what I jumped back and forth from. And yeah, I did that for about 6 7 days, and then the next thing I knew, interview day was here. The interview day was here, and Python is pretty helpful for the DSA. I mean, there's just a lot more resources, and it makes a lot more sense compared to Swift. But all right, now to the interview day. That was that was a crazy day because that day was just filled with adrenaline, like from the start. Like I got up, I did my routine, went to the gym, had a great workout. To be honest, adrenaline is great for when you wanna have a great workout. So yeah, I did all that, and I was ready for the interviews by 9. The first one was at 10, so I just kind of reviewed my notes and was trying to just hype myself up. And then came the so it was gonna be 4 interviews. I had an outline before. It was gonna be 4 interviews, 1 behavioral, and 3 technical. The first one was gonna be a behavioral, and that was, to be honest, I think that was the one that I didn't fail, but I didn't do as well because, and that pertains to the whole the real mistake I made was I didn't prepare stories and I didn't prepare enough for the behavioral side because they asked a few questions, and I was able to kind of come up with like a good enough answer, but I definitely did stumble a bit. For example, the one question which I've seen asked quite a few times, like I've done quite a few interviews, especially for and like especially for iOS. The question is, what do you do to keep up with Swift? Um, yeah, what do you do to keep up with the latest changes in Swift and like iOS? And that's a question that, I mean, if you guys are watching and going to interviews, that's something that you should think about and really have a good answer to. Because I I hadn't at the time I hadn't ran into that question and I hadn't prepared for it, and I was like, whoa, what do I do? I mean, I code every day, and then I I didn't like freeze or anything, but I did stumble. I was like in my head, I was like I was like scrambling, trying to find a formulated answer. But yeah, it was like things like that, and also having stories for the typical behavioral questions that you get, right? Because for stuff like this, you can forget, right? Because you're focused on technical stuff, to be honest. Like you want to like work on your projects, learn MVVM, new concepts, and make sure you have those fundamentals down packed. At the same time, the behavioral is super important. So yeah, that was the first interview of the day. I I wasn't I didn't do horrible, but I really didn't do my best. But I was still feeling pretty confident, to be honest. So then I went into the second one. The second one was technical, and this one was reversing a linked list, which I had remembered. And I think if if you guys made me do it right now, I could probably come up with a rough solution, but I would need help because I haven't worked on that in a long time. But it was reversing a linked list, and I was able to fly through that and like explain my thought process and all that. And then I had a break. That was I guess like the lunch break, which I didn't even eat lunch the whole day. And then I had two following rounds of technicals. These I don't remember the specifics. Like they were more so problem solving. Like they weren't DSA specifically. They were more problem solving exercises where you would use like some algorithms to solve a problem. I know the third one I was able to come up with a pretty decent solution. I my memory I don't remember entirely like the question for that one. I know for the fourth one, I wasn't able to get the full solution. I was probably able to get like three quarters of the way there. But something interesting about that final technical interview is the person interviewing me was definitely on the phone with customer service throughout the whole interview. So that was interesting. I mean, it didn't really phase me. Like I made sure not to let it phase me or bother me, but I realized like while I was doing the interview and like trying to go through the exercise, like, is this man on customer service? Because he there was the ringtone because he had his phone somewhere and like that it was that the tone when you're on customer so you're on hold, and then at some point in the interview they answered and then he went on mute and he turned his camera off. But yeah, I did my best to not let that phase me. And after that, that was the conclusion of the interview day. I felt like I did pretty well because I was able to solidly answer two of the technical questions and get most of the way there for the third one or the last technical. And for the behavioral, I was like, I don't know. That one I didn't fail, but I also felt like I didn't crush it and I didn't do as best as I could have. And that's probably because I had spent most of the time focused on like the DSA and the technical portion of of the time I spent studying, that's what I focused on. So yeah, that at the end of the day, it was I guess I wasn't even exhausted. I was still like on the adrenaline, and I hadn't even eaten all day. I think it was around like 4 p.m. or 5 when I finished, and I kind of felt like I needed. Well, I wasn't hungry, but I knew I needed to eat because I hadn't eaten all day. And and yeah, I just from there I kind of just I tried to wind down, and then it was like the waiting game because they that was on a Monday. The interview day was on a Monday. They said that by Friday they would let me know. But then what happened is on Friday, the recruiter messaged me saying, "Oh, we'll have to let you know on Monday because they weren't able to meet to make a decision." And then I was like, "Oh, damn! I gotta wait." Once I thought I was gonna at least know on the weekend so I could celebrate or cry, right? But I had to wait till Monday, and it was like Monday afternoon, so it wasn't even like Monday in the morning. But I still like I was still working on my projects and stuff. Like I wasn't gonna just sit by and wait for for them to tell me yes or no. And then finally on Monday afternoon they called and they were like, "Damn," well they, they didn't say damn, but the lady said they weren't gonna be moving forward. They were looking for somebody with a little bit more experience, and that was the end of the Amazon run. What could have been? What could have been? And it did suck to be honest, but I at the same time I knew like that's kind of the game, right? Like you're gonna get rejected, and I had already been rejected, but at least this time I made it to like the final round and got some very good experience with interviews. All right, so so I just want to recap again. The main takeaways I had for this is the importance of mock and practice interviews is like key, and it could be hard to get that because even for myself, I didn't really do any mock interviews. I didn't really do any mock interviews while I was trying to become an iOS developer. I was just using the interviews as my practice, pretty much. Because before the Amazon day, I had done like two or three technical interviews, but they none of those were DSA though, and they were more just talking about Swift concepts. But yeah, being able to have something like that, like practice and mock interviews, that's going to be very key and helpful. And also, the second biggest takeaway was the balance between the technical and the behavioral, because what the behavioral and something that's underneath behavioral is like the soft skills, like having that really like solidified or at least somewhat solidified can help you because the soft skills will be key for the technical interviews, like being able to communicate your thought process and how you arrive to a solution or how you explain or think about a certain concept. And of course, for the behavioral, where you have to kind of talk about just your experience doing certain things. But yeah, I hope you guys found this insightful. If you guys if you guys are looking to become iOS developers and break into the tech industry, make sure you guys book a coaching session with me. I'm doing free mini coaching sessions. The link will be on the description. You can also go to breakintoios.com, subscribe to the newsletter, and from there you will be directed to the Calendly to book a call. And what I'll do also is I will put the links in the comments. So on YouTube, the link will be there. And on LinkedIn, you can also find the call there. Find the link there. All right, y'all. This is the last live stream. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys enjoy the new year. New Year's is coming up. It's the last live stream of the year, and last live stream for a little bit. I'm gonna take a little break, but make sure you guys again book a mini coaching session if you guys are interested, and also book a or subscribe to the Break Into iOS newsletter. All right, y'all. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Peace. Peace.